Oh, hello everyone. Myself Kruti Vyas, and today I'm going to present my topic on post-traumatic stress disorder before it had a name, cell shock in a war poetry. So here is my presentation details and academic details. Here is the table of contents which I will discuss today. So my central research question is, how do Wilfred Owen and Seyfried Sassoon use poetic language to represent the psychological and bodily effect of cell shock, and how do their war poems anticipate later clinical understanding of PTSD, means post traumatic stress disorder. My working hypothesis is that World War One war poetry by Owen and Sassoon functions as an early literary testimony of trauma, using fragmentation, sensory disruption, irony, and bodily imagery to represent cell shock in a way that anticipate the modern concept of PTSD. So, first one is what was a cell shock? Cell shock was coined in the 1950 by Charles Myers. Initially, doctors believed it was a physical injury caused by exploding cells, a physical theory. However, they soon realized that the symptoms were psychological, emotional, overwhelm, and manifesting as a physical tremors and stammers, even in soldiers without a single scratch. Second one is the medical literary intersection. So medical history and cultural history are linked. So while doctors are struggle to define these symptoms, poets like Owen and Sassoon were already documenting them. This 5-year timeline shows how poetry is bridged the gap between the coming of cell shock in 1915 and the formal diagnosis of PTSD in 1980. Third one is a Wilfred Owen, the poet as a patient. How? So Wilfred Owen is a wrote from the perspective of patients at Craig Lockhart in a Dulcet Decorum East. In his vivid imagery of gas attack and drawing soldiers captured the hypervigilance and intrusive memories that we know that define as a clinical symptoms of PTSD. Owen poet as a rhetor and persuasion the old lie. Owen was not just expressing pain; he was a rhetor using graphic trauma to graphic trauma, and by showing the horrific reality of war, he aimed to dismantle the old lie, the romanticized myth that dying for one's country is sweet or honorable. And then the Sassoon, Craig Lockhart and the role of religion. So for Sassoon and Owen, Craig Lockhart was a space to critique traditional institutions, and Sassoon's work explored the psychological mechanism of repression year before it was a mainstream, and using now poetry as a secular liturgy to process suffering where religion had is failed. Then moral injury and the subversion of sacred. So we must distinguish the PTSD from moral injury, which is the wound caused by a betrayal of core beliefs. World War One poets used the image like a crucifixion to highlight the hypocrisy of a church that blessed the slaughters and focusing on deep psychological wound rather than just a fear. Next one is the language of cell shock, literary symptoms. So trauma has changed the structure of the poetry itself, because the fragmented syntax, interrupted meters, and repetitive sensory imagery mirror the fractured mind of the soldier. So the poems do not just describe cell shock; they enact the cognitive disruption of trauma as well. Next one is the somatic landscape, when the environment is the trauma. So in the trenches, we can see the physical and psychological landscape are fused, and the inescapable mud of the Western Front became a literary metaphor for the escapable nature of traumatic memory. So for this poet, the environment is itself was an active source of breakdown. Next one is authenticity, narrative, and the trauma ethics. So, first, one question arises in our mind that can trauma be authentically narrated? So, while these two poets is fills the gap in clinical records. It has a limit, but most is a reflected thing that voice of educated officers and meaning the experience of the working class soldiers often remains unrecorded in literary forms. Then the addressing the gap, women's voice and secondary trauma. So here we must included nurse like Vera Brittain and Mary Borden. They witnesses graphic trauma firsthand because they're suffering from secondary traumatic stress. Their records provide a crucial parallel diagnosis from the perspective of the healer. Then here my hypothesis confirmed because poetry has pre-clinical record. So the Owen's description in 1980, it captured every major symptoms, flashbacks, numbing, and hyperusual decades before the medical establishment formally codified PTSD in 1985. So here we can see how my hypothesis is confirmed here. And next one, the evolving diagnosis from cowardice to neurobiology. Biology. So we have evolved from punishing cowardice with execution to understanding neurobiology. Biology. So today, our mind is imaging the confirm that what poets called soul wounds are actually miserable physical change in our brain because it's the testimonies of the war poets as well. So my conclusion is the Wilfred Owen and the Seyfarth Sassoon's war poetry does more than describe World War One. It powerfully represents the psychological and bodily efforts of Selçuk. So through the fragmentation, irony, sensory images, and wounded bodies, their poem captured trauma in a way that anticipate modern understanding of the PTSD. So here is the scope and limitation because my presentation is focuses on Owen and Sassoon, Craig, Lockhart, and examine how literature anticipate the revolution of psychotraumatology, and the limitation is our data is primal officer centric and leaving a gap in our working class record. And this infography is about this infography shows my whole presentation, and here is the references. And thank you. Please, questions are welcome. Uh, if uh, if wo-
If war poetry served as a preclinical record for World War First, what modern art form are currently documenting the physical crisis of today?
So today's pre-clinic archives are found in digital and visual culture, like in films, in web series, and graphic novels, and although we can see in spoken words as well, and even social media narrative and works in today's time. The major works like Euphoria and Joker, along with Instagram poetry and trauma focused document anxiety, alienation, and identity crisis in a way in World War One uh, capturing the main lived experience before it is clinically is improved by them. Yes, next one.
My question is does assigning a medical diagnosis to a historical poem limit its artistic value or enhance it?
Yeah, so applying PTSD as a lens, both enhance and risk is limited in the both poem because it enhance by offering psychological depth and historical relevance, but but limits if it reduce the poem the mere symptomology and neglecting the main it aesthetic, symbolic, and imaginative complexity. Yeah, so that is from my side. Thank you.